there is an element of explicitness that we've never really seen before.
Teachers are more excited. Students are more excited.
I see my role as being a student as well.
Do you ever have to help the teacher with technology?
Yeah.
We have to get to every student, every teacher, every classroom.
Yeah.
If we aren't doing that, then we really aren't meeting the role as board.
Rather than, this is my agenda as an educator, this is now our agenda. And that's grounding everything that we're doing.
Park Manor is a grade 6, 7, 8 school in Elmira, Ontario. We have a school population of 300 students, a grade 6, 7, and 8 with French immersion as well, and one congregated developmental education class. The community is a small town community just located north of Waterloo, but our school is fed just from the school community.
Waterloo Region District School Board is approximately 60,000 students that we serve, and we have over 100 schools, secondary and elementary, with a variety of different organizations. We've really tried to focus on capacity building right across the organizations, and part of that is drawing upon the leadership, and we're learning together.
So when I started in September 2009, the trouble with year one is that as a staff all over the map, we say our understanding of some of these high yield tools like a gradual release, differentiated instruction. So whenever we did staff development, how do I meet everyone's needs and the staff?
Yeah.
So there was trying to build everyone's capacity, but then also how to have them be comfortable with sharing and learning from each other. We had an old computer lab and basically just two old data projectors. So we had focused a lot on building the pedagogy. And then, as you can see, started to purchase technology for the teachers, the smart boards, the document cameras, the data projectors. I think the main strategy is first that I'm learning with my teachers. That was the biggest thing, is to be with them, but also model everything, getting them comfortable with not knowing the answer in front of me.
This idea of it's okay to try something new and that I don't have to know everything right away, being able to go through that experience has made me be able to understand that, hey, this is exactly what the students are feeling in the class. So what we've done as a staff, and we've gone through an exercise of kind of plotting where you are and then seeing what's a small step that I could take. And then, okay, after that wasn't so bad. So now let's try another step. Having staff that are supportive, that are willing to share ideas has been a huge help in terms of learning. It's been wonderful to have the devices in the classroom, because if you don't have it readily accessible, if you don't have your hands on it, then you just don't get the opportunity to play, to try, to be creative. And you really just have to be willing to try and know that sometimes you're going to fail, and that's okay. You learn from those mistakes, and other times it's going to be really successful and it's going to go well. We're going to focus on our writing for today. So each one of you is going to be posting a journal for today.
By the end of that year, every classroom now had a document camera and a data projector. Plus, we had a number of smart boards in classrooms, but also still began acquiring more technology as we were learning about our students, building our capacity. We were able to develop our initial version of our accelerated learning framework, and we instituted our BYOD policy. That was really year one.
The skinny on the accelerated learning framework is that it is a graphic organizer that links teaching and learning to students. Students will need to develop 21st century skills. Creating, communicating, collaborating, critical thinking, and citizenship need to be embedded into what we do every day. Reaching out a little bit further is the exemplary pedagogy that teachers use. Reaching out a little bit further, we then look into the rich learning tasks that teachers develop for their students. We've been very fortunate to have quite a number of technological tools, but they certainly don't come before any of the other layers, and especially do not drive what's happening with our students.
And it doesn't matter whether I'm using the pedagogy or tools, if it's not going to help the student, why am I doing it? So it provides a good filter for me. How we do it is we use the framework to help identify what things we can do as a staff, together as a community of learners, to meet this ultimate learning goal for graduating students. That's really the why, because if we have students come out like this, they're going to be successful in whatever they do.
So we've been working a lot on developing those 21st century skills, and today the big skill that we're really going to be focusing in on is critical thinking. So what I've tried to do is take the framework that we developed and now make it very explicit to students. So I can quickly, and we can decide what 21st century skills are we developing for any specific lesson and learning goal. So I use this board to really anchor the lesson, allow the students a very visual representation of how are we going to use the framework to accelerate our learning. Using the website and the Google form, set a goal for improvement and articulate why you've chosen that goal. So what's the learning goal you think?
I think I want to try and use more transition words. So I'm using this website, and it gives you how to use transition words.
It hasn't just been talking about 21st century skills. We have created these posters that allow students to very quickly and easily identify what does it actually mean to them.
So we've taken the 6 C's from out of here, and I like to kind of work through things. I like to visually represent it. I like to also bring my students into it so that I can get their feedback on it to make sure they understand why we're doing things, get their ideas on how we can do it so that we can be successful. Communication, important for me to communicate with the students to share their ideas, and I also feel it's very important for us to communicate with parents. Collaborating, as I mentioned, students are always a part of what I do in the classroom for our lessons. It's not just me dictating, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it. We're really trying to teach the students to be responsible citizens, and also how to use that technology appropriately, really wanting to put a focus on our student character development, creating, and then critically thinking. Another area that we've been working on and having those kids just, again, think outside of the box.
So year 2, we continue to focus still on looking at the pedagogy, because we found, okay, we've got this great framework, we're using this technology, but if we don't know it helps students, like how do we know?
Okay, so